Hello everyone, welcome back to the Analyst by Vajiram and Ravi, dated 30th November 2024. Today again, we will be discussing some important topics that has appeared in today's The Hindu and The Indian Express newspapers, which are very relevant for your exam. In our first topic, we will try to look into various roadblocks and some possible solutions in India's target of achieving $5 trillion economy, particularly in context of recent GDP growth slump to near a 2-year historic low. Then in our second topic, we'll see the importance of male contraceptions, some challenges and possible solutions. Then in our simplified section, we will take up 5 articles and we will try to explain them in simplest language possible to enrich your understanding of the newspapers. Additionally, we have also incorporated some prelims pointers which is going to be very important for your upcoming prelims 2025 exam. So please have a look on them also and stay tuned. So our first topic is, can India achieve a $5 trillion economy? The context of this topic is that India's GDP growth slumped to 5.4% in Q2 of financial year 25, the lowest in last 7 quarters. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of your GS paper 3, infrastructure, growth and development, fiscal policy, inclusive growth and government budgeting. As you would be aware of the fact that our Honorable Prime Minister has made a target that India will be achieving $5 trillion economy by the end of year 2025. But as per the statement given by our Finance Minister in the month of January 2024, she said that the target of the government is now to achieve that particular target of $5 trillion economy is by the year 27-28. Also, government has made a target to become the 3rd largest economy by the end of this decade. But the recent data that is coming with regard to the GDP growth rate, which has been much affected by various domestic reasons as well as various geopolitical reasons like Russia-Ukraine war, COVID-19, and in near terms what we have seen in the Israel-Hamas issues, etc. So all these issues have affected our economic growth rate, our GDP growth rate manifold. Before looking into the sectoral analysis of the recent data with regard to the GDP growth rate, let's try to look into some basics first. As in our economy, there are 3 sectors. First is the primary sector, under which the activities are majorly focusing on extractions of natural resources from the earth. For example, farming, fishing, mining, etc. Then we have the secondary sector, in which we are processing the already extracted natural resources. Then we have the tertiary sector, which is providing the services to the primary sector and the secondary sector. For example, banking, transportation, healthcare, education, etc. are the activities under the tertiary sector. What we have seen in the recent data that under the secondary sector, the manufacturing sector is struggling, and under the primary sector, agricultural sector was one of the brightest spot. And in the tertiary sector also, the services were a better performer as compared to the manufacturing. If we take example from this chocolate itself, when this chocolate was made, when the cocoa that was used to make this chocolate, one that was extracted from the fields, that is a particular activity in the primary sector. When it was processed in any of the manufacturing facility of the Cadbury, that is a process, that is an activity under the secondary sector. And when this chocolate was transported from that manufacturing facility to ultimate retail store, that is an activity under the tertiary sector. This chocolate is going to be very significant in our today's discussion because we will be using it for understanding various concepts throughout our discussion. So now let's look into this data. The data says that the manufacturing sector struggles. It is almost 2.2% down from 7% that was the growth rate in Q1 of financial year 25, and 14.3% was the growth in the Q2 of financial year 24. That is the 1 year back data. And the source of this data is obviously the NSO. If we look into the data of mining and quarrying, that have also contracted and it is mainly contracted to almost 0.1%, and it has seen that contraction because of the extended rainfall that has hampered the mining activities because of the flood like situations, and flooding of mining and incessant rainfall etc. have made mining very difficult. Also, it is a sharp decline from 7.2% growth in the Q1, that is the 1 year back data. Also, the agriculture and the constructions were some of the bright spots. It grew almost 3.5%, up from 2% in Q1, and the construction, which grew to almost 7.7% growth, and in the Q1 it was almost 10.5%. In what we have seen, that the services sector have seen a slower growth rate, that is 7.1%. 7.2% was the data in the Q1 and 6% in Q2 financial year 24. Also, the private consumption expenditure rose to 6%, that is to almost 24.82 lakh crore, which is down from 7.4% growth in Q1, but it is slightly improved compared to 2.6% in Q2 of financial year 2024. To understand this better, let's try to again look into some basics. So as you would be knowing that the GDP is the total value of goods and services that is produced in the domestic territory during a financial year. It is calculated generally under three methods. The first is the value added method. Then the second is the income method. And the third is the expenditure method. Under the value added method, we add all the value addition that is happening at each stage of production, and when we deduct the cost of intermediate goods from that particular value addition that is happening, and when we add all the data of value additions for all the sectors of economy, then we can calculate our GDP through this value addition method. Also, we add the taxes on the products and we deduct the subsidies that was given for producing that particular commodity. For example, again, let's take the example of this chocolate first. Let's suppose the cocoa that was produced, the cost of that cocoa was, let's suppose, 100 rupees. Then when it went to the particular manufacturing facility, it processed that particular cocoa, and now it is selling the chocolate at 150 rupees. So the value addition that was done by this manufacturing facility is this 50 rupees, and the value addition done by the cocoa farmer is 100 rupees. Similarly, when it will be ultimately sold, let's suppose it has been sold to ultimate consumer at 200 rupees. Again, here there is again 50 rupees value addition. So when we will add all the value addition, that is 100 plus 50 plus 50, we can get the GDP figures, because it is the value addition which we are doing at each stage of production. We have added all the value added at each stage of production. Then if we talk about the income method, when we add all the income that has been gained by four factors of production, that is land, labor, capital and entrepreneurship. For land, we get rent. For labor, we get wages. For capital, we get interest, and for entrepreneurship, we get profit. When we add all these four, we can get the GDP by income method. Then under the expenditure method, we have the private consumption expenditure, that is household spending on the goods and services. Then we have the investment expenditure by the privates, by the businesses, etc. Then we have the government spending on infrastructure creation, etc. Then we have net of export and import. Okay. So when we will add all this, we can calculate the GDP by expenditure method. So what we have seen, this private household consumption expenditure is one of the important indicator of the purchasing power of the people, whether the people wants to spend in the economy or not. So this is what this private consumption expenditure data is telling, that it has improved to the Q1, but it has seen a slight decline as compared to Q1 of this year, financial year 25, but it is much more better than the Q2 of financial year 2024. Also, the data says that the government spending, that is this government expenditure, that it is almost growing at 4.4%, which has rebounded from a 0.2% contraction in quarter 1, and it is significantly lower than the quarter 2 of financial year 24, that is the last quarter of the financial year 24, that is the second quarter of financial year 24, where it grew to almost 14%. Means the expenditure of the government, expenditure by the government was very much as in the quarter 2 of financial year 24 if we compare it with the quarter 2 of financial year 25. So what are the some possible reasons? Okay, so why we have seen this decline across the various sectors? First, the weak urban consumption. That one of the major reason why the urban consumption has been very weak is because of the rising food inflation. As per this data from ICRA, the food inflation was 9.7% in the month of October 24, and it has been majorly fueled by vegetable inflation, fruits inflations, etc., which has with the major reasons for high vegetable inflation is the supply side factors like the rainfall, like the non-availability of these products in the mandis, etc. For example, I will tell you a basic example. What happened in the month of September, we have seen a larger rainfall, due to which the tomatoes harvesting couldn't be done and it couldn't reach the mandis. Also, the transportation, etc., were much affected due to those rainfall, and that led to supply crunch in the particular mandis, and the availability of tomato was not there in the mandis, and that led to soaring cost of the tomatoes, and it reached to almost 120 rupees per kg or 200 rupees to 120 rupees per kg. So this vegetable and the some of those goods which are perishable in nature, which have a very shorter shelf life, are fueling these food inflation. So when we have such a high inflation and the purchasing power of people are not that sound, people will not be buying these products, and that will lead to weak urban consumption or weak consumption. As compared to rural areas, we have seen a weaker urban consumption. Also, the high borrowing cost. Because of this high inflation in the economy, the RBI hasn't eased the liquidity. RBI hasn't decreased the repo rate till now since last few quarters. And this has led to high borrowing cost. As you would be aware of the fact, then when repo rate is very high, the cost of funds to the banks, that is the loan that they are taking from the RBI, is very high. And then the commercial bank will also give high rate of interest. They will charge high rate of interest on the loans that they are giving to the consumers, that they are giving to the private businesses. So this borrowing cost will ultimately added to the product cost also, and that will lead to high inflation, and the people will again would not be motivated to buy these products. For example, again this chocolate, this particular chocolate of 40 gram was earlier rupees 40 per unit in the end of December 2023, and in the month of July, the cost of this particular chocolate was 45 rupees, and again it has increased to 50 rupees for 40 gram per unit. So you see that how we have seen the increase in the food prices, how we have seen the increase in the prices of various products. Also, we have seen a stagnant real wage growth. What is happening? That is, one case is the nominal wage growth and second is the real wage growth. For example, let's suppose if the wage growth, that is, let's suppose the wages of one particular person was 100 rupees, and the particular company have increased the wage of this particular person by 10%, and now it is 110 rupees. But let's suppose during this time period the inflation was also 10%. Then in actual sense his real wage growth is 0%, because when the nominal growth, wage growth minus inflation, we get the real wage growth. So in true sense, this particular person is in loss because there is no increase in his wages in true sense. So what we have seen that the wage growth, real wage growth hasn't seen very uptrend, okay, in past few years. This has been more or less stagnant as compared to the inflation that was in the economy, which has been very high. Also, the adverse weather conditions, as we have seen the heavy rainfall, and it has disrupted the mining and the electricity sectors, as we have talked that due to flooding of various mines and etc. it became very hazardous for the miners to go and mine the particular product or the particular goods that they were extracting. Also, due to the overflowing of various dams etc., electricity production has been also hampered, and it led to the decline in the electricity and the mining activities. Also, the agricultural impact. Overall, the agricultural production was better as compared to the last financial year, but again, the food inflation have made the things worse. Also, the manufacturing sector challenges, that we have seen that there has been decline in the manufacturing growth. Why? The main reason has been the FMCG product, that is fast moving consumer goods. For example, the atta, the dal etc. that we take from the stores, or this chocolate is also example of fast moving consumer goods. So what happened, that the people were unable to even buy these basic necessity items from the market, and the main reason for that was the high inflation. And when people were not buying, the manufacturing sector has been also seen a slowdown, because when the demand of the goods and services was not there, why will particular company will even be producing? And that has been also seen in the weak corporate earnings. Whatever the quarterly earnings are shown by the various corporates, for example, in the FMCG sector, we have company like Nestle, we have company like Adani Wilmar. So all these companies have seen a poor the quarterly results, and one of the main reason for that poor quarterly results was the weak demand by the people, especially in the urban areas. Also, if we see the short term outlook, due to coming of the festive season, that is the Diwali, Dussehra etc., then the new year will come. Again, the marriage season is going on. More than 80 lakh marriages are going to happen in this particular few months. So again, all this will fuel the consumption. Okay, and there is high possibility that we will see a better quarterly results in the upcoming Q3 of financial year 2025. So if we look into some other issues in achieving $5 trillion economy, the slow private sector growth. Okay, what we have seen in some of the developed economies like the US, or in the case of China, the private sector has been one of the significant area where they have played a huge role in the high GDP growth rate. And in India, it has been very low. Their contribution has been very low, and it has been one of the main reason for slowing growth because of various reasons. For example, the regulation that has been not very sound. There has been unnecessary regulation. The policy were also not very consistent. There has been a lot of policy changes that we have seen. For example, demonetization once happened, then GST came. Apart from that, the several other regulations etc. has been kept on changing. Even when the GST came, there has been multiple structures which has been rationalized time and again. So all these things doesn't help in ensuring that we have a proper private consumption, proper private sector growth. Again, we have the infrastructure bottlenecks that hampers the productivity and the efficiency. As per the World Bank Logistics Performance Index, India ranks 68th globally, and this is the data from 2020. So what is happening? Our roads, the railway sector etc. hasn't been very sound, hasn't been very efficient, and it takes lot of time even to ensure that one product is reaching to another location in shorter span of time, and it reduces the productivity of the establishments. Also, the turnaround time of the ships, that is the time when that particular ship have came to the shore or that particular port, what is the time it will take to get all the custom clearances and deboarding of all the items that was there in that particular ship? What is the time? The turnaround time has been very high in India as compared to some of the developed peers. So again, these infrastructure bottlenecks again creating issues of the productivity and efficiency and hampering our economic growth. Then the low labor productivity. Okay, the labor productivity hasn't been very sound despite the coming of technologies, despite the coming of the various initiatives that government have taken. For example, our labor is still facing the low wages, skill mismatch and informal jobs, which is limiting the economic growth. For example, the demand of industry at this point of time is artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, machine learning, but our labor force do not have these skill sets. So when there will be a mismatch between demand of the industry and what our people or what our labor force is having at present, then again it will hamper the productivity of labor. People will be underemployed and they will be getting the low wages. For example, India's labor productivity is 1/5 of China's, and this is the data from OECD. And one of the main reason for this is that India isn't investing much on the research and development, R&D. Okay, India is almost contributing to 0.7% of its GDP on research and development, and it is much more than that. For example, South Korea or the China, etc., is contributing almost 3 to 4% of their GDP on the research and development. So when they are doing this R&D, they are also equipping their labor force with better skill sets. Their products will be much more competitive in the global market. Their products will be much more export ready in the global market, and they will get better earning. So one of the component here that we have, that is the export earnings that we have seen in the GDP calculation. So until and unless we will invest in the research and development, until and unless our products will become competitive, until and unless our labor force will be better equipped with better skill sets of 21st century, we will not be able to earn better from the exports. Also, the agricultural dependence, that it still employs almost 40% of the workforce, and its contribution has been only to 17 to 18% of GDP as per the data from Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation 2023. What we have seen as the China and India got almost independence at the same time. But what we have seen that both the countries started from the agriculture, then the China have first gone to the manufacturing sector improvement and then to the service sector. But what in India we have seen that due to high regulation and high protectionist measures, what we have seen, we hasn't been able to reap the fruits of the manufacturing sector. And that's why we have seen a jump from agriculture to the services sector, because services sector required informal skill, not that much skill was required. Also, the digital connectivity, computer revolution, etc. have helped in growth of the services sector. And still our manufacturing sector is perishing because of lot of regulation, lack of proper skill sets with the labor force, low labor productivity, lack of proper credit, and the policy inconsistencies. All these are hampering the growth of manufacturing sector today itself. So this is again the India's rank is still, it was 63rd in the ease of doing business report that came by World Bank in the year 2019. Then we have the environmental sustainability issues, where the climate change is impacting and the pollution is harming the long-term growth. For example, India ranked 120th in Environmental Performance Index as per data from Yale 2020. This has been also one of the important factor, because of when we are polluting our environment, it is again taking a toll on our GDP. People are spending more on their health expenditure, etc. And due to lack of proper social security benefits, again it is taking a dent on people income, and people will not be able to buy other products which are of their daily necessity. So what are the needed reforms? As per our chief economic advisor, the first important measure that we need to take is the deregulation for the growth of India. That we have to clearly identify that what are the sector which needs to be allowed for 100% FDI, what are the sectors which needs to get a proper approval, and if there is a sector that needs the approval of the government to get the FDI, or if there is a sector which is prohibited, then that should be a constant policy. It shouldn't change frequently. For example, in the insurance sector, we have seen that government have earlier increased the limit from 49% to 74%. Then again it increased. Now it is thinking to increase it to 100%, that 100% FDI will be allowed in the insurance sector. So what is happening? One of the major potential for the growth, or the one of the major factor how the manufacturing sector will grow, is the investment that will be coming from the foreign. Okay, so when, until and unless the foreign investor will feel that their money is going to be safe in India, their money will give them profit in the future, they will not be investing. So at this point of time, we have to identify the sectors which needs to be less regulated. There can be a soft touch policy. That government will only come in the picture when there is some exploitation that is happening. For example, exploitation of labor is happening, then government will come and take the punitive measure. But if the government is coming at every point to take every decision, the particular company have to get all the clearances from the government. Our bureaucracy, our government is already battling with the red tapeism. Then again it will make very difficult for the various manufacturing sectors, for the various establishment to grow properly. So as also suggested by our chief economic advisor, we need to identify our sectors properly, and they needs to be deregulated, and there should be a proper policy consistency so that the investment can be done, and the manufacturing people who are involved in the manufacturing, they feel motivated to invest and to grow. Then the public investment expansion, that government will have to take lead. Okay, what we have seen that when the government have seen that private consumption expenditure is improving, the government spending have declined, but government will have to see that they are one of the major investor in the infrastructure sector. When the government is investing in the infrastructure sector, that is leading to creation of more jobs. When it is leading to creation of more jobs, then the purchasing power of the people will be better, because people are getting better wages. And when people will have money, people will have wages, they will be buying more products, and that will lead to a greater demand of the products, and that will again lead to greater production, more production by the private companies, private establishment, and that will again fuel the growth cycle altogether. So government will have to take the lead in investment. Also, we have to improve the hiring and the compensation policies. We have to see that what we have seen, the informalization in the economy, where there are less wages, there are contractual jobs, there are lack of proper social security benefits, they needs to be tackled well, because when people will be very sure about their jobs, they will be also investing their time and time properly in that work. Also, that will help in to a larger extent in increasing the labor productivity. And in a time when the person will be in particular need of the money, for example, any health contingency may arise, so social security benefits will be very crucial in that particular point of time. What we have seen, why there has been low demand? Because people did not have money. So we have to ensure that there are proper hiring and compensation policies. Here government will have to ensure that it is properly monitored by them. If we talk about other needed reforms, we have to ensure that there is increased investment in the infrastructure, because ultimately it is infrastructure which is going to be very crucial for fueling the economic growth. Because and government have taken some various measures in this regard. For example, almost 111 lakh crore allocated for infrastructure by 2025 under the National Infrastructure Pipeline, that is NIP. Then the PM Gati Shakti, which aim to enhance the multimodal connectivity. It is ensuring that there is proper coordination between the ministries. For example, let's suppose the road transportation ministry is there, which is building the roads. Then we have the Ministry of Civil Aviation, which is looking for the airport construction, etc. Then we have Housing and Urban Affairs Ministry, which is looking for smart cities development, the various urban infrastructures. Then we have the railway ministries, etc. Gati Shakti is ensuring that there is proper coordination between all the ministries so that infrastructure can be expanded properly. There is better efficiency of these infrastructure, and that can actually help in decreasing the logistics cost, decreasing the turnaround time, and that will further fuel the economic growth. Then it is also important to improve the ease of doing business. Okay, For example, we have to again identify the sectors. We have to go for deregulation, streamlining the businesses process. For example, as of now, still the GST process is somewhat complex, as we see if we compare it with some of the other peers in the developed countries or the developing economies. There are various slabs in the GST, and which the products, the various activities which are included in all these slabs, they keep on changing. And it has been rationalized multiple times in various GST council meetings. So it becomes very confusing and it becomes very difficult to ensure that compliance by these businesses are happening in due time. So government can ensure that there is a proper policy consistency, there is less changes in a shorter span of time. Again, it will help in enhancing the export and the trade policy. Government has been also implementing various policies like RODEP, etc. Then Make in India was there. Then Atmanirbhar Bharat was there. All these schemes have helped India in achieving that growth rate, but still there is a long road to go ahead. Also, we need to ensure that we strengthen the trade agreements that can actually help in better market access. For example, we have various trade agreements like free trade agreement, preferential trade agreements, etc. And there are talks going on for signing of free trade agreement with the UK. So it took years for signing of that agreement, and it is still not signed. So we'll have to ensure that all these trade agreements at the proper diplomatic channels, we leverage proper diplomacy, and so that all these trade agreements can be signed in the due time and we can have better market access, and that can actually help in getting our better export earnings. For example, the export growth was 7.9% in financial year 2023, which has been much less as compared to China, which has seen a double-digit export growth in last few years. Also, we have to promote the digital economy and innovation, because digitalization will drive the productivity and the growth. It will help in increasing the efficiency. It will help in decreasing the cost of production. Also, India's digital economy is valued to almost 15 lakh crore in financial year in overall 2025 as per NASSCOM. Also, we have to strengthen the manufacturing and Make in India, where we'll have to focus on manufacturing and industrial activities. They should be provided proper hand-holding, proper support. Government will have to ensure that proper capacity building is done of these establishments so they can grow and they can participate in the growth story of India. Okay, for example, the manufacturing sector still contributes to only 16.3% to GDP in financial year 2023, which is much less as compared to the developed countries and China. Also, we have to boost the human capital development. For this, we need to invest in the education, skill sets, training, and the healthcare. And the skilled workforce will actually help in driving the labor productivity. For example, Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana 4.0, which is being run to ensure that more and more skill sets can be provided that is required for industry 4.0, that is artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, coding, etc. So there is need for proper oversight mechanism so that all these schemes can be better implemented. For example, there are various insurance schemes, okay, that are being run by the government. We need to increase their coverage so that more of the informal labor force can be covered. Okay, so we have to understand that as of now, our size of our economy is almost $3.7 to 3.8 trillion economy. If we have to grow a 5 trillion economy figure by the year 2025, we'll have to grow at 35% rate, which is almost near to impossible. But if we want to achieve the feat of $5 trillion economy by the year 27-28, we'll have to grow with a moderate figure of 7 to 8%, which is very much possible. If the government is very serious with proper fiscal policy and with the support of proper monetary policy by the Reserve Bank of India, this feat can be achieved by 27-28, and we can become the third largest economy by the end of this decade. A mains practice question from this topic is that India aims to achieve a $5 trillion economy by 2025, discuss the key challenges that could hinder this target and suggest viable solutions to overcome them. Our second topic is India needs to share contraceptive responsibility. The context of this topic is that a write-up has appeared focusing on various aspects of contraceptives and family planning. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of your GS paper 1, population and associated issues. So what happened on the third Friday of November, the Vasectomy Day is celebrated. And India is also one of the participants of this Vasectomy Day, which is majorly aimed for increasing the awareness towards vasectomy. Okay. In 2017, India observed a vasectomy fortnight. The main aim of that was to increase the male participation in family planning, which until now what we have seen that it was the female who were taking the lead in the tubectomy, that is the contraception, and the male people were not very interested towards this. Also, we have seen a decreasing male sterilization. Okay, as per this National Family Health Survey for 2015-16 and National Family Survey Health 5, the male sterilization is almost 0.3%, means not even 1 people in the 100 people are going for male sterilization. And if we talk about the female sterilization, it is almost 37.9, means almost 38 women in 100 are going for the female sterilization. Also, this shows the gender disparity in the sterilization rate. Also, it is going to be very predominant in achieving our target of SDG 5 that aims for gender equality. So if we have this kind of dissonance in the male and female sterilization, we will not be able to achieve this gender equality SDG 5 by the 2030. Okay. Also, if you look into this disparity in the numbers by the government of India, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare data, that is the permanent sterilization and the temporary sterilization data. Okay, temporary sterilization done only on the women and permanent is on the both male and female. You will see that whatever the total target was, okay, that was not achieved in female properly, neither it was achieved in the male properly, and achievement rate was much lesser as compared to female. Okay, so if you look into introduction to India's family planning program, okay, in 1952 the national program for family planning started, where initial focus was improving the maternal and child health. The main aim was to reduce the infant mortality rate, to reduce the maternal mortality rate. Okay, also it aimed to ensure that institutional delivery of pregnant women are happening. Then it later shifted to the population stabilization measures, okay, where we have to achieve a total fertility of 2.1. Again, between 1966 to 70, about 80.5 of sterilization procedures were vasectomies, means 80.5% of sterilization was done in male, and this was the time period of emergency from 1975 to 77, and these vasectomy methods were allegedly done under the guidance of Mr. Sanjay Gandhi. And during this period of emergency, most aggressive sterilization campaigns happened. The focus shift what we have seen in this decade was the female sterilization, and it was majorly because of the social and cultural factors. What we have seen that during the emergency campaigns, this forced sterilization what was done, or the vasectomy that was done, this led to a lot of issues. Okay, lot of issues were there. Especially the male members were very hesitant. They were not very comfortable in going for this, and when this forced sterilization happened, it led to a negative image of the government. And due to this social and cultural factors, that childbearing is the role of woman, so she should be going for the sterilization rather than a particular male member. And these were the factors that ultimately culminated into the policies, and government have also slowly and gradually went for that aggressive vasectomies, and major focus has been on the female sterilization. So what are the importance of the male contraceptives? As you could see that the vasectomy data, okay, it has been very less. As if we are looking into this figure of under 10 lakh, how many people are going, then and under 30 lakh, more than 30 lakh to 40 lakh, how many people are going. You can see that the very less number of people are going for the vasectomy. That why it is important? First, it is going to promote the gender equality in reproductive health. That it empowers the men to share the needs of the contraceptions. Okay, as of now, we always listen that the husband and wife are the two wheels of any one bicycle. So as both are bearing the responsibilities of household and everything, the contraception responsibility should also be borne by both. It is not necessary that only the female member should bear this responsibility. So to ensure that there is proper gender equality, we should promote the male contraception. Also, it reduces the female contraceptive burden, that eases the pressure on women's health choices. At many of the times, what we have seen, despite non-attraction towards the female contraception, there are various female members who are compelled to go for these female contraceptions. Also, it enhances the family planning options, because when we have only one option, that only the female will go for the contraceptions, then the women do not have any choice. She will have to go mandatorily. She will be compelled to go. But when there will be a promotion of male contraception also, the male members will understand the importance of male contraceptions. There will be better choices. At least two people, there will be no compulsion for the female member. Also, it will improve the contraceptive awareness and acceptance, that will help in reducing the stigma and misinformation associated with male contraceptions. Also, it will contribute to the sustainable population control, where it will help in stabilizing the population growth rate. What we have seen in 2021, India have achieved the TFR, but still in some of the North Indian states like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, etc., the TFR is still not under the 2.1. Okay, so in southern states have achieved many years ago, but still it is going on in the it hasn't been achieved in some of the northern states. So it would be much better, and that we will be able to achieve that TFR if our male members are also going for contraceptions. Male contraceptions is promoted. Also, for example, India's population growth rate is almost 1.2 as per the World Bank 2023. It can be stabilized with the help of male contraceptions. It will also boost the economic and the social development, that it will help in increasing the productivity and the social equality in the society. So what are the persistent challenges? First is the societal and the cultural attitudes. Okay, that is one of the main reason for hindering the male participation. What happens? That is the inherent patriarchy, that childbearing and rearing is the ultimate responsibility of the woman, and male will not be participating. The male members are only for the instrumental roles, that is going out and do work outside, and the expressive roles, that is the household works, the bearing and rearing of the child, etc., is the work of the woman. This patriarchal notion and gender stereotyping is one of the main reason that is hindering the male participation. Also, the illiteracy and the family opposition, it also discourages the male sterilization. Generally, it is the notion in the society that if the person or the male member will go for the vasectomy or the sterilization, this is against his manhood. That might affect his libido or the drives, etc., sexual drives, etc. So all this again discourages the male members. Also, the misconception and the male ego. Okay, so generally this is against the male ego. This is the notion that sterilization is against the male ego, and they take it on their ego that they will not be able to produce further childs. All this again, this misinformation, stereotyping again affect the contraception. The procedural unawareness with the people. Okay, A survey that was done in the Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar in Maharashtra. Okay, the most of the female members who participated in this survey, and this survey was done by PATH in year 2019. In this survey, most of the female members were not even aware that there is something like male contraception. So that shows that what is the status of unawareness in the society about the male contraception. Also, the common perception with the people is that since male members were already facing various economic hardships, so if a person will go for the vasectomy or the sterilization, he will not be able to work for few hours or few days. Okay, again that will take a toll on his income. So again it is felt that since female member have better time, it is the societal notion that female member have more time after household works, they can go and visit the health center, and from there they can get that sterilization. If the male member will go, he will have to leave the work for that day or for few days due to that small surgery that will happen, and due to this perception, again the male contraception rate is very low. Again, the inadequate skilled professionals in rural areas. Okay, one of the main reason is that the people have lot of fear that there will be a surgery and that might lead to several complications, etc. We already have very low doctor patient ratio in India. Okay, if we compare it with several other developed countries, etc. Also, the rural health practitioners that are there in the rural areas, they are not well aware about all the procedures of this vasectomy. Again, due to the procedural unawareness and lack of adequate professionals, further fuels the notion against the male contraception. That community health workers, okay, they lack knowledge of the non-scalpel vasectomy techniques. Okay, this non-scalpel vasectomy techniques doesn't involve any big surgery or blood loss, etc. It is a small surgery that doesn't even lead to lot of hospitalization, etc. So this particular method is not properly available in most of the rural areas, in most of the villages, etc. So again, this is leading to lack of proper male contraceptions. Government have taken various initiatives, but again you will see that most of these measures that government have taken has been more focused on the female contraceptions. For example, Mission Parivar Vikas, which was launched, under this new contraceptives were made available till the sub-center level. For example, Nai Pehal family planning kit for newlyweds made available with the ASHA workers. What is the full form of ASHA? Please tell me in the comment box. Then the Saas Bahu Sammelan, where it encourages the married woman and their mother-in-law to freely discuss the matter related to the family planning and the reproductive health. Then the Sarthi, which is a family planning mobile van offering information and services at the community's doorstep. Then 3 new contraceptives were added to the basket of family planning choices. For example, injectable contraceptive MPA, that is medroxy progesterone acetate under the Antara injectable contraception program. Then we have the Chhaya injectable contraception, and there are also some progesterone only pills that are made available by the government at the various government run hospitals, so that the family planning can take a proper lead. So what is the way forward? What needs to be done? First, there is need for sensitization and the educational initiatives. For example, various awareness programs and peer group discussions needs to be done. That can actually help in changing the societal behavior towards the contraception due to the better communication that will help. What is happening? Let's suppose there is a peer group motivation. For example, let's take a negative example that in the district of Jamtara in Jharkhand, what we have seen that there were few youths who have resorted to digital crimes, digital frauds, banking related frauds, and that have motivated several other peer groups, several other young people to resort to digital crimes, banking related frauds. So peer group motivation is one of the important factor that can actually lead to tangible changes on the society. For example, there is a Hirve village in the Maharashtra. This particular village is called as the village of millionaires. In this village, people have gone for the various measures that has helped in addressing the groundwater depletion, that has helped in addressing the challenges that were emanating out of drought and climate changes, and that has also helped in increasing the income of the people towards resorting to the sustainable agricultural practices. So if we will create such a environment where more and more awareness will happen, more and more peer group discussion will happen, that will lead to behavioral change in the people, and this can only be possible with the better communication. Also, the incentives for male sterilization. For example, there are various schemes that are being run by the Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh government, where if a particular male member will go for the vasectomy, they will given a one-time lump sum amount. They will be also given some other things like kambal, etc., blanket, etc. So these kind of measures needs to be taken at a larger level throughout all the 28 state and union territories. Also, we can take international lessons and the best practices. For example, in the South Korea, what we have seen that there has been a progressive societal norms, and that has actually helped in gender equality. The male vasectomy rate in the South Korea has been very high if we compare it with India. It has been more than 30%. Then in Bhutan, the social acceptability of the male vasectomy has been very good, and that has actually helped in providing high quality services and government run camps. When if a person will go for the male vasectomy and people will make fun of that people, there will not be a societal acceptance of that process until and unless people accept that the forward looking process, that male vasectomy is one of the important component of the contraception. It is one of the important thing in nation building. It will be very difficult for us to promote the male contraception. And what we have seen in the Bhutan, that there was a social acceptability of that, and that has been only possible by the government promotional programs, by government run camps, where government has provided various measures. They have provided various incentives for the male sterilization. Again, the role of media and awareness campaigns are going to play a very instrumental role. For example, in the Brazil, the mass media has helped in spreading the awareness with regard to the male sterilization, and the vasectomy prevalence in Brazil rose from 0.8% in 1980 to 5% in recent years. Again, if we look into some other measures, we need to strengthen the national health system, where we need to train more of our health professionals, especially the rural health professionals, because with the help of them we can promote the procedural, we can increase the procedural awareness, and non-scalpel vasectomy can be also promoted. Also, we need to invest in the technical advancements. For example, the better techniques that are being done in various countries like South Korea, Brazil, Bhutan, China, etc. We need to provide the upgraded facilities in the rural areas so that people may get attracted towards going for these contraceptions, and we need to move beyond the policy formulation. First, we have to understand that there should be a proper demand and service focused efforts, where people feel good after going for this contraceptions, that they don't feel that they have lost something. Okay, rather it should feel that they have achieved something in life. Also, then there is need for effective implementation with the help of NGOs, civil societies, and community engagement, because this can actually help in building the perception. This can actually help in addressing the misinformation surrounding the male contraception. A mains practice question from this topic is that discuss the importance of male contraceptives in family planning in India. What are the challenges and potential solutions for increasing the male participation in contraceptive use? In our simplified section, the first topic is that UGC approves flexible degree completion for undergraduates. Okay, this particular topic pertains to syllabus of your GS paper 2, education and government policies and interventions, and this has appeared in today's Indian Express page number 70. So the gist of this article is that the UGC have approved the norms for accelerated degree program and extended degree programs. What is happening? Let's suppose there is a person who is very good in the academics, and he can complete all the semester exams of a 3-year course or a 4-year course within in less than 3-year time. Then he can go for this accelerated degree program. His degree will not be affected. His degree will be equivalent to the person who is getting the degree in 3 years, or a person who is getting the degree in more than 3 years. Similarly, there is a facility of extended degree facility, that if a particular person is not very good in the academics because of the earlier knowledge or earlier education that he or she got, then he may go for this EDP or extended degree facility programs, where rather than completing his or her course in the 3-year or 6 semester, he can take one extra semester. Okay, his degree will again be equivalent to the 3 years bachelor degree course. So the context is that undergraduate student will soon have flexibility in completing their programs in less or more time than the standard 3 to 4 years, following the recent decision by the University Grant Commission. Okay, whether the student opt for the accelerated or extended timeline, they will earn the same degree as those the standard track, provided they fulfill all the academic requirements. Means they give all the exams, their attendance is normal, all those things, whatever the requirements are given by the UGC or the particular college, they will have to fulfill all those requirements. At the end of either the first or second semester, undergraduate student will be allowed to opt for either the ADP or the EDP based on their performance in the first or second semester. They can opt for this. Okay, student enrolled under the ADP will follow the same curriculum and must earn the same number of credit as 3 or 4 year UG program. However, they can complete their program sooner by earning additional credit starting from the semester they choose the ADP. A 3-year UG program can thus be completed in 5 semester instead of the 6 semester, that is shortened by a maximum of 1 semester, and the rest of time, that is the one semester time that they are getting, they can devote on the UPSC preparation, because most of them are ultimately going for the UPSC preparation. And while the 4-year UG program can be completed in 6 or 7 semesters rather than 8, on the other hand, the students who have enrolled for extended degree program, they will be allowed to earn fewer credits per semester compared to the standard program, and it will allow them to complete the course in an extended time. Their course can be extended by a maximum of 2 semesters. So what is the objective? Objective is that to address the diverse academic needs and the cognitive ability of the people, to fulfill the needs of different group of students according to their demands, so that instead of offering a single course, we can tailor our course according to the needs of the students, according to the cognitive ability of the students, according to the learning abilities of the students. And ADP allows the higher performing student to complete their degrees faster by earning additional credits and allowing them to enter the workforce or pursue higher studies sooner. Conversely, EDP supports students who face academic challenges by offering them an extended timeline to complete their degrees at a manageable pace. Together, these options promote equity, ensuring all learners have the means to achieve their educational goals. Okay, again, when will this particular option will be available? The head of the UGC said that the institution can start offering ADP or EDP from the July-August session in the year 25-26 academic year. It would be up to the institutions to decide whether they would like to offer these programs or not. There is no mandatory target, or there is no compulsion by the UGC to mandatorily offer this ADP or EDP program. So if you talk about some prelims booster point from this topic, that is UGC. It was established on December 28, 1953. And it has become a statutory body by this 1956 Act, which has set up the UGC. The primary role of UGC is to coordinate and maintain the university education standard. They ensure that there is a proper standard curriculum that is being followed, and that curriculum is getting updation properly, and also there is a objective criteria for getting proper degrees, for giving proper credits to the students, and there is, at least to whatever extent possible, there is a standard and streamlined curriculum and the credit system throughout the country. Also, the regulation that it monitors fake universities. Time and again it publishes the names of various fake universities, various autonomous colleges and the deemed universities. They are also regulated by the UGC. Also, the distance education programs, for example IGNOU or Delhi universities, SOL, etc. It is also regulated by the UGC. The head office of UGC is located in New Delhi. Next topic is Odisha's proposed anti-cheating law. The context of this topic is that the Odisha government has decided to enact a new law to curb the cheating that is going on in various government exams. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of your GS paper 2, education, government policies and interventions, and this has again appeared on Indian Express page number 70. So the government has decided to act a new law with stringent penal provisions to check cheating and other discrepancies in public examinations conducted by various state recruitment agencies. So what has happened in Odisha, the Staff Selection Commission and other service commissions which have conducted various exams, there has been various discrepancies in those exams. Students have alleged that a lot of malpractices has happened, and to address all these students, all these issues of the students, all these apprehensions of the students, the Odisha government have decided to bring a new law, which the bill for that law will be tabled in the upcoming assembly session. That the official said that the law would be aimed at effectively deterring people, organized group or institutions that indulge in unfair means and adversely impact the public examination system for monetary or wrongful gains. Currently, there is no specific law in the Odisha to prevent cheating in the examination. In recent years, states such as Uttarakhand and Jharkhand have also introduced similar laws with the public examination prevention of unfair means. And also the government have came with this particular law, that is public examination prevention of unfair means. This particular law has came in the year 2024, and the main aim again was to prevent the unfair means in order to bring greater transparency and fairness and the credibility to the examination system. So as per this law of Odisha, what will count as an offence? That according to the proposed law, actions such as leaking question paper, unauthorized people providing solutions to the questions, etc., they will be considered as the offences, and also the violation of security measures to facilitate unfair means, tampering with the computer networks or the system, manipulation in the seating arrangement, and creation of fake websites to cheat or monetary gains are also considered. They are also considered offense. They are also included in the offense. Time and again, what I feel that the people who are investing so much of energy, so much of their cognitive abilities on resorting to these unfair means, if they will invest those energies and those abilities towards study, I think they will be able to clear that exam. People are using such kind of advanced technologies like small Bluetooths in their ears. People are setting up a mirror server on any other room in case of online exams. If all this mind, all this ability is used for some purpose, they will be able to clear this exam, okay, and they can get a good government job and probably a good married life after getting the proper government job. Also, the particular act by the Odisha, all the offences under this will be cognizable and non-bailable and non-compoundable. What is a cognizable offence? Where the arrest can be made without a warrant of the court. Again, the non-compoundable offence, that there is no settlement that can happen between the two parties. Okay, there is no remedy that lies by doing the settlement between the two parties. Okay, so any person who is resorting to unfair means and offences under this law will be punished with imprisonment for a term not less than 3 years, which may extend to 5 years, and fine up to rupees 10 lakh. Apart from this, other details are there, and it is still in the bill, is still in the enacting stage. After it will be passed, we'll see that what the law actually came. Again, you can see there has been one question related to this Public Examination Prevention of Unfair Means Act 2024 in the recently conducted UPSC Mains 2024 exam. Also, this topic was well covered in our Analyst on 28/05/2024, and you can see that this particular question can be easily solved from that particular Analyst. So let's also look into some basic details about the central law. Again, you people tell me in the comment box that since government have also made one law related to this Public Examination Prevention of Unfair Means Act 2024, and states are also making their laws. So education is in which list? Is it in union list? Is it in state list or in concurrent list? So again, we have talked that the aim of this particular central act was to prevent unfair means in order to bring greater transparency, fairness and credibility to the public examination system. And under this, various public examination, they are conducted by the public examination authorities which are listed in this schedule. They include UPSC, SSC, RRBs, IBPS, etc. These are the public examination authorities, and whatever the exams that are being conducted by these authorities, those will be considered the public examinations. Then they have, the particular act have also mentioned various unfair means, for example, leakages of the question paper, providing solutions, tampering with the OMR seats, creation of fake websites, conduct of fake examinations, etc. And there has been various punishment and the fine that has been also given under the act itself. If you talk about various salient features that it will help in dealing with unfair means that are adopted or committed by various entities involving that during the conduct of public examination for recruitment and admission to the higher education by the central government and various other agencies, and under this central law, all offences shall be cognizable, non-bailable and non-compoundable. Candidates shall not be liable for action, and they shall continue to be covered under the extant administrative provisions of the concerned public examination authority. There has been various penalties that has been provided, additional punishments for non-payment of various penalties has been also provided. There has been provisions for attachment of property of the offender also, and this act is serving as a model draft for the states, and states can come up with their laws to address the issues of the cheating and malpractices in the various examinations that are being conducted at the state level. Our next topic is that the government proposes raising FDI limit in insurance from 74% to 100%. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of your GS paper 3, mobilization of resources and capital market, and this has appeared in today's Indian Express page number 15. The context is that Union Finance Ministry on Friday released the consultation paper proposing to raise the foreign direct investment limit in the insurance sector from 74% to 100%. And in the year 2021, month of February, this 49% was increased to 74%. The FDI limit was increased in this particular month. Also, the government stated that the proposal to amend certain provisions of insurance laws aim to ensure that the accessibility and the affordability of insurance for citizens. It will also help in fostering the expansion and development of insurance industry, and it will also help in streamlining the business processes. Also, notably, the chairman of IIDAI, that is Debashish Panda, had earlier this month advocated for 100% FDI, citing need for significant capital to meet the ambitious insurance for all by 2047 vision, along with the vision of developed India or Viksit Bharat by 2047. Also, you can see that why it is important. This increased FDI limit will help in improving our insurance penetration as well as our insurance density. Insurance penetration refers to the ratio of total insurance premium, both the life and the non-life insurance, written in a country relative to its GDP. Okay, that is the ratio of the total insurance premium to that of GDP is the insurance penetration. Okay, whereas if you talk about the insurance density, this refers to amount of insurance premium, both life and non-life, paid per capita, that is the total premium divided by the total population of the country. So if you look into the insurance penetration, it is almost 4% of GDP in the year financial year 23. In the case of life insurance, it was almost 3% in 2022. But in case of non-life insurance, it was much less, as it was only 1%. If you talk about the insurance density, it was $92 in the year 2022, up from $11.1 in year 2001. The life insurance density was $70 in year 2022, and non-life insurance was again the $22 in year 2022. So the government and IIDAI thinks that increased FDI limit will help in improving our penetration as well as density, especially in the non-life sector. If you talk about some prelims pointers about the IIDAI, it was formed under the IIDA Act in year 1999, especially after the recommendation of the Malhotra Committee. And the main aim is to regulate the India's insurance sector, and the headquarters of this IIDAI is located in Hyderabad, and it works under the Ministry of Finance and it ensures the transparency and proper policy holder protection. It promotes a fair, transparent and efficient insurance industry for the policyholders. It also issues licenses to insurers, regulates their operations and ensures solvency. It enforces measures to safeguard policyholders' interest and addresses the grievances of the people. It encourages the penetration, density and innovation in both life and non-life sector. Our next topic is that NGT asks CPCB to prepare the Pan-India guidelines for silica mining. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of your GS paper 3, environmental pollution and degradation, and this has again appeared in today's The Hindu, page number 5. The context is that NGT on Friday directed the Central Pollution Control Board to prepare detailed pan-India guidelines for silica sand mining and silica washing plants within 3 months. A silica sand washing plant is used to remove the impurities and contaminants from silica sand, and both the mining and washing process poses significant health risk to the people working in these plants or residing nearby. They also causes silicosis and occupational lung disease caused by prolonged inhalation of silica dust. So there are various poor people who do not have any other work. They will come only doing these kind of work which are very hazardous in longer term. So if you talk about the NGT, it was established in year 2010, created under this NGT Act 2010 for effective environmental protection. It is a quasi-judicial body that specializes in adjudicating environmental disputes, ensuring the speedy justice. It covers 5 prominent areas, that is forest, biodiversity, air, water and soil pollution. It has judicial powers that it can impose penalties, enforce environmental laws, and they can protect it is helping in protecting the ecosystems. The principal bench of NGT is located in New Delhi with regional benches for broader coverages. No third party appeals, and it helps in bypassing the lengthy court processes, enabling direct environmental redressal. Earlier we have to first approach the lower court, high court and then the particular Supreme Court. But here, if there is a person who is polluting or the industry which is polluting, or there is imminent danger to the forest biodiversity or the air water quality, people can direct approach the NGT and get the redressal. There has been various significant judgments of the NGTs, for example, ban on diesel vehicles who are more than 10 years older in Delhi region. That was one of the significant judgment. If you talk about the CPCB, that is Central Pollution Control Board, it was established in 1974 under the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974. It supervises air, water and noise pollution level across India. It functions under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. If you talk about the functions of CPCB as per the Water Prevention of Control of Pollution Act 1974 and Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981, it promotes the cleanliness of stream and wells in different areas of the states by the prevention, control and abatement of water pollution. It tries to improve the quality of air and to prevent, control or abate air pollution in the country. And this is where the question that was asked in year 2018, prelims 2018 question, that is NGT has been established by the an act, whereas CPCB has been created by an executive order of the government. NGT provides environmental justice and helps in reducing the burden of litigation in the higher court, whereas CPCB promotes cleanliness of stream and wells and aims to improve the quality of the air in the country. Now I have given you the content. Please tell me the answer of this question in the comment box. Next topic is Lothal death. The police and the administration seek explanation from IITs and the Archaeological Survey of India. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of your GS paper 1, Indian Heritage Sites and Ancient Indian History. This particular topic has appeared in today's Indian Express, page number 11. The context is that 2 days after a 23-year-old PhD scholar named Surbhi Verma died while working in a trench at the Harappan site of Lothal, the Gujarat police and the district administration has sought explanation from IIT Delhi, IIT Gandhinagar along with the Archaeological Survey of India whether proper standard operating procedure was followed while going for that excavation, etc. or not, and whether that particular PhD scholar has got proper clearances from the relevant concerned authorities or not. Since the Lothal as a site is in news, it becomes very important for us to have an idea about the important Indus Valley civilization. This is a map that is given in the NCERT itself. You can have a look on this map and all the major sites, they can be asked in the UPSC exam, because UPSC have asked one question related to the Indus Valley civilization, that which of the following site is not one of the proper Indus Valley civilization. That question I will also be showing you. This is the question that was asked in year 2019, that which one of the following is not a Harappan site. So Gaura was not a Harappan site. This is located in Gorakhpur, and this is one of the Mauryan period site. So you can have a look on this map and learn the important areas that where that particular Indus Valley civilization is located. Also, I have provided a table with the site name and the river on which they are located and major findings of these sites, that what were the major things that were found from these Harappan sites. You can get this table from the handout that is attached in the first comment. Also, if you talk about the Archaeological Survey of India, it was founded in 1861 by Alexander Cunningham under the British rule. The mandate of ASI is that they are responsible for conservation, protection and preservation of India's monuments. It operates under the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act 1958. So it is a statutory body. Currently, it functions under the administrative control of Ministry of Culture, Government of India. It conducts excavation of historical sites like Rakhigari, Dholavira, etc. It protects almost 3,691 centrally protected monuments across India, and also it manages 44 sites museum showcasing archaeological findings and cultural artifacts that India's UNESCO, also the India's UNESCO World Heritage Sites, the World Heritage Sites under the UNESCO which are situated in India, they are also overlooked, they are also managed, their protection, their proper keeping is also looked by the Archaeological Survey of India. Now you people tell me in the comment box that at this point of time how many World Heritage Sites identified by the UNESCO are located in India. That was all from today's Analyst. Thank you very much. All the very best. Keep studying.